Hello all, hope you're doing well. So in this video we are going to discuss about polyfunctional organic compounds. So we discussed about monofunctional organic compounds in the previous videos. And before starting I just want to say that I'll be very thankful if you can subscribe my YouTube channel. Please like and share also. So I'm basically waiting till the time I'll get 100 subscribers. So I'm trying to have short goals. Obviously soon enough it will be 1,000 also. I can only pray. So saying that, and the next thing is you can comment and you can tell me what kind of videos you want. So obviously I go in a order where I always have some things in my mind that if I'm going to explain this, then these things I haven't taught in on my channel. So you will always have that gap in your head, or maybe so try to understand from my angle. I'm working on this platform. It's actually a larger audience. So some people are maybe struggling in even matter chapter. Let's say they are struggling in law of chemical combination. Maybe that is very easy for you but might be difficult for some other people. So not every video is made for you, just remember that. So whatever videos are helpful to you, you can watch those. So obviously making this kind of content will take a lot of time. So I'll definitely work hard for you. But the question is that are you going to work hard for yourself? So, anyways, enough of the chatter. So coming back to the main topic, polyfunctional organic compounds. I was about to upload this video and I saw one of the comment. So that was a coincidence. Already I was planning to record this video and somebody commented in my videos that the priority list you were talking about. So I'll be discussing about that in this video also. So when it comes to polyfunctional organic compounds, they are organic compounds having more than one functional group. So if we have this kind of situation, then we follow a priority list. So now that we are going to write that first, and after that we'll be doing certain examples in order to understand it better. So this order we have to remember: order of decreasing, priority for some functional groups. So it's not all functional groups, but some. At least it will be helpful for grade 11 and grade 12. And in some of the different countries, it can be useful for your graduation also, depending upon different syllabus across globe. So now the very first functional group that we have in the decreasing order, that means if we are talking about, let's say the first functional group that we keep over here is carboxylic acid. So carboxylic acid is having the higher priority. Remember this thing, high priority means you have to give lower locant position, lower carbon, you can say number in the main parent chain when you're naming the organic compound. So carboxylic acid is always the top, you can say, of the priority. So if you have carboxylic acid in competition with any other functional group, let's say alcohol is there. So you need to always keep one thing in mind, that carboxylic acid will always come in the suffix. That's how it goes. Higher the priority, it will definitely come in your suffix. And if any functional group which is present in the organic compound, if it's having low priority, so it will come under the prefix. So most of the functional groups have suffix name also and the prefix name also, that we will do in this video. So carboxylic acid, then the next one is sulfur group, SO3H group. Some of the groups are also bonded to the cyclic structure that is still pending. I have to upload the video about the cyclic structures that we'll do in the coming days. So then coming to ester, COOR. So R over here is the alkyl group. COCl, acid chloride also we call it. Then acidamide, CONH2. I'll basically take all these examples for the nomenclature. Some of the nomenclature for these functional groups I haven't taken. Like acid chloride is there, COCl, acetamide is there, that I haven't taken. Then cyanide, cyano group. Then we come to aldehyde, that we have taken already. Then we go to ketone. Then we have alcohol, amine, NH2 group, amino group. Then we have carbon-carbon double bond. And in the last, we have carbon-carbon triple bond. So if you can see one thing, in most of the cases, like when you have, positions of double and triple bond on the same carbons, like symmetrical carbons, I would say, like on the terminals, or if you go from left or right from any carbon and it's falling under the same locant position. So in that case, we always prefer that we will write double bond first and triple bond later. That this makes sense because the priority of alkenes is basically more compared to alkynes. So we have to remember. And rest what I'm not writing halogens, I'm not writing NO2 group, nitro group, alkoxy group, that is basically ether. So they are always coming in the prefixes part. They are not coming in the suffix part, right? So I'm going to write this line over here. High priority functional group that will come in the suffix. And if we have low priority functional group in the same organic compound, if we have, that will come under prefix. So let's take an example. I still have to give you one more chart where we are going to introduce prefixes and the suffixes according to the IUPAC. So let's take this simple example where I'm going to give this carboxylic acid, and then you have an alcoholic group. So now in this, if you see, this is our carboxylic acid, right? This is not alcohol, please. Many of the people do confuse. It comes with practice. You have to be patient with yourself. It's not going to go into your head if it's if it's the first time, it will take some time. But once you are very habituated with these concepts, it will be very interesting for you to solve these kind of questions. So this is carboxylic acid, right? COOH. If you don't write like that, if you write like this, please remember carbon with a carbonyl group, C double bond O, and one OH group. So the same carbon if we have, that's carboxylic acid. And then we have alcoholic group over here. So from where we should start the numbering? So according to the priority order given, carboxylic acid is going to have high priority. I will start the numbering from here. So now if you see, alcohol is falling on third carbon. So, and you need to remember prefix for alcohols is hydroxy. So we can't keep alcohol in the suffix according to the ruling that I have given. Since alcohol is coming over here, carboxylic acid is the top one. So we have to give high priority. We have to keep this carboxylic acid functional group in the suffix, and we have to keep this hydroxy, that is the prefix, in the prefix, because it's having low priority compared to compared to this carboxylic acid. So now coming to the naming part. So this will be named as 3-hydroxy butane. Either you can write it as 1-oic acid or you can write butanoic acid. See, there are multiple layers. Now I'm taking only one carboxylic acid. When you take 2 carboxylic acid in a hydrocarbon chain, then we have a different situation. 3 if you take, then we have a different situation. All those examples, we'll cover it up. So maybe I'll split this polyfunctional organic compound in 2 videos. Then I think we'll be able to finish it off. Now, coming to the next part. So we don't have any prefix for alkanes, alkynes. We just have the suffix, right? And for halogens, we always have the prefix halo, which I have told you. So alcohols, I've already told you it's hydroxy, and the suffix for alcohol is ol, that we did in the previous video. So I'll start from aldehydes, since I've just saved some time on the writing part. So already I've told things. So things which I have not told. I'm going to write it. So aldehyde is CHO. So I'm going to write prefix and suffix over here. So if you have aldehyde in competition to any of the functional group which is having high priority, so aldehyde will be coming under prefix. So for aldehyde we have prefix formyl, or we can even write as oxo. Suffix is the same that we did in the previous video, that is al. Correct? Then we go to ketones. So in ketones, again, if it's in competition, you can say for any other functional group where ketone is having low priority and we have to use the, prefix, this, we have to use the prefix. In that case, you are going to use oxo. So if you can see aldehydes and ketones, we can both use oxo, but if they're both together, so if you have to check if you can see over here, aldehyde is having more priority compared to your ketone. So if they both are present in the same organic compound, so you know that ketone will be ending with -one suffix, and aldehyde will be, you can use aldehyde as oxo or formyl, it's up to you. So over here the suffix is -one. Now next that we are going to discuss is about nitriles. Nitriles are C with the triple bond N, cyanides basically. And the prefix that we have for this is cyano, and the suffix is nitrile. Then we go to, after this we can actually take this ethers part. Ethers have a prefix alkoxy. Like if you talk about only ethers, they are not in competition to anything. Like if you see over here, we haven't written ether because ether is going to come in the prefix part, which I've told you before. So it's always going to be in the prefix. So alkoxy. So the suffix is not there for this one. But if you talk about only monofunctional organic compound where only ether is there, so you know alkoxyalkane, that's a general name. Then we go to acyl halides. So COX, that is something I've written COCl, if you can see the priority list. So X over here can be F, it can be chlorine, it can be bromine, iodine. So acid acyl halides. So the prefix is halo, carbonyl, and the suffix is oil, halide. See, even carboxylic acids can have prefix. So I'm going to write it over here. This table which I'm writing, it's not according to priority list. The list which I've given, that is, you can say the decreasing order list that I've written. So even carboxylic acids have prefix. I'll tell you where it can be used. I'll take one example later on. So the prefix over there is carboxy. Otherwise, the suffix part you already know, that is oic acid. Then we can even write about esters, RCOOR dash. So R can be, you can say same or different. So for esters, we have prefix alkoxycarbonyl, and the suffix that we have is O8. Then we go to amines. Now amine can have a suffix just like that, amine. So like, ethanamine, methanamine, propanamine, like that. So amines are basically written as NH2 with the alkyl group. So this is primary amine. If you talk about secondary amine, tertiary amine, so amines I can take the nomenclature part in a separate video, in a short video. So the prefix that comes for amine is amino. Then we go to amides. Amides, CONH2. Again, primary, secondary, tertiary, that depends upon the alkyl group which is bonded to the nitrogen over here. So the prefix that we have is carbamoyl, and the suffix is amide. So C if you have to open this, C double bond O, NH2. So if you remember urea, somewhere in my previous videos, like you can also see the videos in my playlist. Whatever video I upload under whatever concept, whether it's atomic structure, I still have to do. So organic chemistry, whatever I'm uploading, I'm going to add in that playlist. You can have a look, and you can just watch those videos. There is about oxidation number, electronic configuration. I still have to do the subshells part, that I'll definitely do soon. So over here, if you remember urea is NH2CONH2. So can you see CONH2 is nothing but the amide bond, or you can say the amide functional group that we are talking about. The same amide linkage is also present in your proteins. So remember that. Now, after this, this is nitro compounds. So NO2. So we don't have a suffix for nitro. We just have prefix. And then sulfonic acids. That is SO3H. So sulfo is a prefix and sulfonic acid is a suffix. Right? So now we are going to take some examples in order to understand, and then some questions also I'll be giving you, which you can practice on your own. So let's take some examples. If you see this structure, there are two carboxylic acids, right? So the ruling says if you have just one carboxylic acid, then it's going to be some alkanoic acid as a suffix, that oic acid as a suffix. That's a simple one which we took in the previous videos also. But what if you have two carboxylic acids in a structure like this? Then what should be the parent chain? So the parent chain should be this. So you can't, now the question comes that, this is a straight chain. It is having four number carbon atoms, long chain. So why are we taking this? Because your functional group is present in that. That's the answer. So we can't go with the straight chain, you can say, in this horizontal way. So we have to take this vertical one. This is our main parent chain, and these are going to act as alkyl groups. So this is ethyl, C2H5. This is methyl. So on the same carbon, you can see that. So how we are going to name it? So 3. So either you start the numbering from top to bottom or bottom to top. So 3. Sorry, my mistake. It's not 3, it's 2. So 2 ethyl. Alphabetical order we have to follow. 2 methyl. Then propane. And if you can see, at 1 you have carboxylic acid and 3 you have. So 1, 3, dioic acid. That's the answer. Right? So till 2 it's okay to write dioic acid. But what if we have 3 carboxylic acid? So let's take that example. Now, if you see this structure, now there is no way that you can have a main parent chain and you can involve, all the carboxylic acid. So it's always going to be one carboxylic acid which is going to suffer and going to act as a substituent. So in this, we follow different kind of ruling. We never, we consider all the three as, you can say, something attached to the main parent chain. So we never consider this carbon of the carboxylic acid in the main parent chain. So we will consider all the other carbon as a main parent chain, but these will be acting as substituent. That is the case when you have 3 carboxylic acid. For 2, we can still manage this, the previous example which we took. But if you have 3, then don't number that carbon. if you have three or more. Don't number that carbon of the carboxylic acid. So number the carbon, you can say, which is attached to the carboxylic acid. So I'll be starting from this carbon, because this is one carboxylic acid, this is another carboxylic acid, and we are not going to number the carbon of carboxylic acid, because now they are just acting, we can say, as a substituent over here. So this is 2, this is 3. So how we are going to name it? So it's going to be, there are no other prefix, we just have carboxylic acid. So it's going to be propane 1, comma 1, comma 2 tricarboxylic acid. This is how we're going to name. So if you remember the prefix carboxy, carboxylic acid. Then if we you can actually make a lot of other, you can say, complications over here. You can make structure, but you know what, I have seen many students going beyond to the complications that you can add in a structure just to practice your nomenclature, something beyond that grade. Please don't do that, right? I know it's very fascinating, but sometimes things do not work, and you need to know a lot many rules, and sometimes you need to control your brain that you are still in your school, and you have to study limited syllabus, and sometimes it's a blessing in disguise and you don't have to study too much. So please, okay, so I'll give you some questions that you can practice on your own. So this one you can try. Then now you can try, this one. So if you get a branch inside branch, I hope you know already. And please remember the alphabetical order and the dioic part. Dioic, but there is no trioic. Dioic will be definitely there. So one more example you can try on your own. Hey, if you know oxalic acid IUPAC name, like that we can write, or you can actually write on your own. Oxalic acid is this. We write oxalic acid as H2C2O4. So the IUPAC name is going to be ethane 1, 2 dioic acid. So commonly we call it as oxalic acid, and it's present in tomatoes. I guess I'm correct in that part. Okay, now we will go to another functional group. So that is acid anhydrides. Now, what are acid anhydrides? So we represent acid anhydride in this format, where you have three oxygen atom bonded to two carbons, and there is one oxygen linkage you can see in the middle. So, and there are two alkyl groups, or you can even write like this: R CO whole twice O, R2 I'll be writing. So now if we have, let's take an example to understand this. A simplest anhydride I'm taking, where you have just one carbon, like in this alkyl, I'm going to add only one alkyl. So here. So in this case, if you see, like specifically we call this oxygen, like these three oxygen, this is anhydride. So if similar groups are present on both sides of the oxygen, this oxygen, if we say, of the anhydride group, then they are written, you can say, once, like oic anhydride, like this will be called as, because this is also ethanoic and this is also ethanoic. So we will write this as ethanoic anhydride. So this is only the case when you have on both sides it's same. H stand for two carbon on one side. So we are not going to write diethanoic or something. It's just ethanoic anhydride. So these two carbons we are talking about over here. Now if we have a different situation, let's say if the carbon chain lengths are different on both sides, then what we are going to do? Now in this case, alphabetical order and the long chain, if dissimilar groups are present, then they are written separately in the alphabetical order. Just remember that. So if you see this carbon chain length, this is prop and this is eth. So we will be writing as ethanoic, propanoic, anhydride. That's the answer. Now let's try to complicate this one. If we take this example, now if you see, we can add some more branches. Okay. So if you see the structure, now this is our anhydride, right? This part. So we have to consider this carbon also. So we will start the numbering from this carbon because this carbon is going to be is participating in the anhydride, right? That's what we did in the previous examples also. So over here, 1, 2, you can go up also like this, your wish. If you don't want to go like that, so you can go straight, your wish. Then we are going to 1, 2. You can, now when it comes to 3, right? So people always follow the straight chains. They love straight chains, right? So you can number this as 3 carbon. You can number this as 3 carbon. This also, any way you do that, it's always going to be the same name. So this is your methyl. This is another methyl. This is ethyl, right? And you can put the hydrogens. Okay, so this okay, so done. Now we have to name this. So if you see one thing, these are 3 carbon and over here we have 4 carbon. If you can see this, correct? So how we are going to name? We have to follow alphabetical order. In this, we are not going to do that part which we used to do in esters and ethers, like long chain, short chain, like where to keep it, shorter chain and alkoxy part, longer chain and alkane part, alkanoic, alkyl alkanoate, if you remember, for esters, right? So we are not going to do it like that. If you haven't watched those videos, please do so. Okay, so we are going to follow alphabetical order. B comes first because this is bute. This, you can say this is bute over here and this is prop. So B is going to come first. So now we are going to name this. So we have ethyl on second carbon, 2-ethyl butanoic. Then now we are going to name this particular chain. So 2, 2 dimethyl propanoic anhydride. So first you have to take care of the prefixes on both sides of the chains, and then you have to write you can say the alkanoic anhydride. So prop P comes alphabetically later, bute comes first. Even bute is more longer, right? And prop is basically shorter. Then also it's fine. It's not a problem. So I hope you have understood. So I'll give you one more example that you try on your own. Here. So let's put the hydrogens. So now in this, again, keep one thing in mind. You have to follow the alphabetical order when it comes to the chains. So I hope you will be able to get to the correct answer. So I'll stop over here. It's almost 29. It's almost going to be 30 minutes. So I don't want to extend beyond 30 minutes. So please practice these questions. Keep working hard. Keep solving questions. Be honest with yourself and keep watching my videos. And I hope I'll be able to work hard and give you better videos in the future. So, thank you so much for listening to this video. We'll see you again.